55 to 60%. And I'm serious when I'm saying so. Good hotels have seen 30%, 40% turnover even in India 2 years back. Today, yes, because of the slowdown, because the lateral movements are not possible, these college graduates or the hotel graduates I used to see, 2 years back, each one of them had an appointment letter in their hand. Each one of them. The countries, give almost churn out about 50,000 students a year, and every student had a job. Today, that's not the case, which is a different scenario altogether. But this question being raised, and I raised that question, he said, Sanjeev, I think somewhere down the line, you guys need to see what is the salary at the top or division head level and what is the salary at the assistant manager level. You look at their competence based, you look at the skill base, and you look at the difference. If that gets reduced, then I think the turnover will become lesser. And that get sort of confirmed to me when I was in one of the hotels there, and the guy said, whatever is the percentage of the profit the organization takes, that profit is taken out for distribution to the staff, is like profit sharing concept, and that gets divided by and large percentage wise. The managerial set is say 15% of the PD, assistant manager level 10% of the PD, and then so on and so forth. And by and large that gets distributed to the staff, and even junior staff get a big chunk of money. That is how even the junior most staff, or a waiter say for example, or a receptionist for example, they all drive a car. Because we all feel they are all equally important in our business, because to me as a customer, if you come to a hotel, would you like to meet up the manager or would you like to meet up with the waiter or a reception? Because the business gets dealt by the customer level at that level. So he says it's very important that we bring that balance. I think this message is also coming back very strongly. How are we maintaining that kind of bringing some bit of rationality in our reward system? Thank you.
What we call time of recession, we should say it's a time for correction, not recession. So what things were going beyond reach and beyond imagination, now it's being corrected. The second thing is very certain that short-term schemes should be formulated. Schemes having long tenure loses the interest, loses the impact on employees as far as the commission is concerned. It should be short-lived, so that you should be able to create, recreate, redesign about your organization culture and your people mindset, new schemes. Then direct pay versus indirect pay. Yes, it is also a part of innovative rewards and recruitment scheme. How you are able to develop that kind of pay compensation structure in your organization, so that direct versus indirect pay structure takes place. Let me invite Shalini.
Good evening to you all. Thank you very much. Thank you, Mr. Kaushik, Mr. Chakravarti, Mr. Sanjeev, and Dr. Singh. Thank you very much. The topic of today's discussion is the challenges that HR faces all along with the talent. Now, whether we are talking about the challenges of mindset, challenges of growth in an upswing when the business is doing really, really well. We had challenges of managing the talent and managing the expectations. Dr. Chakravarti also talked about how the managing of mindset is so different in the earlier times to today's times. The challenges of recession today. So during recession, we have a different challenge with the same talent who had 3 jobs in the pocket and came to us and said, give me an increment or else. So we had to manage that challenge too. And yes, it is all about engagement. We are using different tools to retain the talent, sometimes growth and development as a tool, development initiatives to retain that talent. Sometimes various employee engagement initiatives to retain the same talent. And sometimes reward and recognition to retain the same talent. So we are dealing with the same talent because that's the talent which is going to help us achieve our business objectives. And it's the same small pool that all of us keep fighting for, because our education system produces a lot of engineers, but unfortunately the dip into that talent pool is very limited. So I'm going to talk about a little bit about the context, which is the war of talent, and I'll have one or two slides which are mandatory from our corporate communication team, which tells about Schneider in India, the employee value proposition, getting commitment from the same talent that all of us have been talking about, innovative practices, and each one of us, and very rightly said by Mr. Sanjeev, that we've got to make them relevant, we've got to make them current, we've got to make them contextual. So we keep practicing and trying and experimenting with various innovative strategies, but they're short-lived because we need to revive them, rejuvenate them. So I'll share some of the practices that we experiment in Schneider, and the reason I use the word experiment is that very, very soon they will become redundant and we'll have to do something different. So about Schneider, we are not into energy production, we are not into energy usage or transmission, we are into energy management. That means we make energy safe, reliable, efficient, productive and green. So we make those products which help save energy up to 30% in your electricity bills. Globally, we are about $20 billion company, and we have about 120, so that's about $20 billion, and we have 120,000 employees over 200 countries now. Schneider in India is about 6,300 as I speak to you. So this is a little, this is an August slide, and now we are 6,300 employees, and we have 11 factories, largely in Bangalore, and head offices in New Delhi. And this is the war of talent that all of us keep eyeing and fighting and poaching, etc., and trying to retain, and therefore the employee engagement, therefore the development and growth, therefore the reward and recognition. The employee turnover this year, thank God for the recession, was not too bad. So the best part of the recession which HR fraternity faced was that we were not really fighting every day with our line managers that, hold this guy, give him 2 times the salary, give him a retention bonus, give him this, but I want that guy because he contributes to so much of my business. So thank God for the recession, we had a breather this year. We actually wrecked our brains for creative strategies. We actually engaged with the employee at a deeper level. We actually got down to partnering with our business and understanding the business realities. So thank God for the recession. And now that you see in the newspapers that we are bouncing back, so HR fraternity gets nervous again, because HR fraternity is going to be facing all the challenges that we've been talking about. There is a skill shortage. Only 10% of the graduates and generalists are marketable. So that means there is a shortage of talent. Despite the fact that we produce so many engineers, only 25% of the graduates with engineering degree are employable. That means they are being eyed by the same number of companies. Business is very optimist now. 70% of the Indian executives indicate that the business is bouncing back. compared to 30% globally. Longer time to productivity, only 7% of the Indian workforce receives the productivity that it deserves, and therefore compensation always becomes an issue. High risk of attrition, because you see, India, like the US and the UK, anticipate or perceives a lot of opportunities in the market. However, 46% of the Indian employees are at the risk of leaving, whereas you can see in UK and US, the attrition is very low. So the risk of leaving there is not so high. Therefore, all of us have to create an employee proposition. So it is the employees market where the employers are trying to poach and target the same talent pool. So we are talking about various initiatives, and I'm not going to touch about any of these initiatives today except for reward and recognition, though the company also engages in all these aspects of employee value proposition. So today the topic of my discussion is only reward and recognition, and what do we do at Schneider. So we need to get more and more commitment, we all agree, and the speakers here have also acknowledged that yes, we need to be creative, we need to create an employee value proposition. Employee value proposition can get you 40% more of their engagement, and you can get their discretionary effort and discretionary contribution by engaging them far greater in creating an employee value proposition. So what do we do at Schneider? At Schneider, we have a total rewards approach. So of course there is salary and benefits where we try and benchmark with the median for the average performers and top quartile for the high performers. We have a very competitive pay for contribution scheme, which is the short-term incentive plan where if you were to exceed your target, you double your contribution. We have retention bonuses for a very small percentage of population. We have the ESOP or the employee stock option scheme, which is again at two levels. One is at discounted price and one is an offer which is made to very senior leadership. We have the insurance medical flexi basket where the employee can choose their compensation and what is it that they want. But thank God, thanks to the government and the change of plan on FBT, that no more becomes lucrative. So we are very nervous again how to communicate back to our employees. And I think last week there has been some declaration as to there will be a withdrawal of that. Sorry? Yeah, so we will. So that's a tricky one. Unfortunately, we announced our flexi basket in April. So we are going to show a very sorry face because of this new regulation. So, and performance incentives, etc. On reward and recognition, we have long service reward, pat on the back, various creative methodologies like my senior colleagues here have already shared. The value champion, and I'll take you through the details of each of these. And of course, a lot of focus on providing international training programs, international growth opportunities, and 48 of our Indian nationals today are working as expats, as Marco Polos, as short-term assignments, etc., all over the globe. And we have about an equal number of expats, or actually less, 15 to 20 expats who have come to India on such similar assignments. So just to tell you that there is a healthy exchange which keeps happening from India and all over the globe. And that is because we are present in many countries and we can give those opportunities. Reward and recognition, now I'm dividing into non-cash and cash elements, and as you would see in all researches that the non-cash element is also has a high impact on engagement and recognition for the employees. So we try and use a balance of both. On the retention scheme, where is the cursor? On the retention scheme, this is, as I told you, to a very limited population. It's about 5% of the permanent headcount, and you need to have a consistent performance. So there is a parameter that we have drawn up, and so that we ensure that there are no personal biases from the managers which creep in. There is a steering committee which tries to approve those, and then there is a payout, which it also has a lock-in period to ensure that we retain the talent that we are talking about. Flexi basket I've already spoken about, so I'm not going to go into details on that, and that we might have to withdraw because it's no more a beneficial scheme. Sorry.